Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kyle Clark.
And I'm Kim Christensen. The holidays mean more DUI crashes. Colorado State Patrol says their New Year's resolution is to bring that number down.
9 News reporter Colton Chavez is along now. And Colton, perhaps news of increased enforcement might get some drivers' attention. Perhaps others would be moved by the heartbreak that so many families have experienced.
That's right, Kyle, and I spoke with the Dominguez family, and it's been 4 years since a drunk driver killed their daughter, and they tell me that they hope that by sharing their daughter's story, it will help make more drivers make the right decision.
She was never one to paint inside the lines. She had to go out.
Francesca Dominguez was an artist.
The teachers noticed that she had a knack for it.
Confident like her artwork.
You couldn't hold that girl back from doing anything.
A daughter whose love poured through her paintings.
That's how she gifted. You know, everybody got paintings.
Years of gifts now decorate the inside of her family's home, but her life was left unfinished.
She was cheated out of life.
In 2020, Francesca had just turned 31 when she was hit and killed by a drunk driver on Highway 2 in Commerce City.
Yeah, there's still anger, you know. I don't know how you get over that.
The driver, Fructuoso Rosales Cano, had a blood alcohol level nearly 4 times the legal limit. Investigators say he went off the road and hit 2 cars, killing Francesca and a detective with Commerce City Police.
I remember where I was when I got the phone call about that crash.
Colorado State Patrol Chief Matthew Packard says he can't forget that night.
I was actually on scene that night. And among the many memories I have, I remember Mr. Dominguez showing up on scene and looking for his daughter.
This type of grief just, you know, it's with you all the time.
Grief that this family holds, especially during the holiday season.
We laughed, we joyed, but when everything is done, we realize she's not coming home.
On the walls of that home, Francesca is far from forgotten.
We don't want the accident to be what her life was.
A life as bright as her paintings, with a message for everyone this holiday season.
Just get home safe, because come the next morning, that's the best price that you can have for New Year's, is being there with your family.
And Colorado State Patrol says their goal for 2025 is to reduce alcohol-related crashes by 15%. So why not start tomorrow night by being safe on New Year's Eve? Live in Denver, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
We can breathe a collective sigh of relief tonight. The worst of the wind is over and no big fires have started. Warnings of high fire danger triggered a lot of anxiety today because this fell on the day of the most destructive wildfire in Colorado's history. 3 years ago, the Marshall Fire killed 2 people and destroyed more than 1,000 homes. 9 News Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is here. And Kathy, the wind is dying down. The cold, though, it's settling down. It's settling in.
I don't know about you, but a big sigh of relief after we got through the afternoon and evening and those wind advisories started to expire, because for all of us, I mean, the Marshall Fire is fresh on our minds and our memory. And when you have a weather setup like this where it's extremely windy and dry and there's not a lot of moisture, it certainly does, produce a sense of anxiety. But things are much calmer tonight. The pressure gradient is beginning to ease, low pressure beginning to shift off to the east of us. Snow showers in the high country are tapering off. The drive is a whole lot better than it was earlier today. We had blowing snow, whiteout conditions up there. Gusts along the Front Range were incredible as well, 40 to 80 miles per hour. Much lighter out of the northwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour. The high wind warning, the red flag warning has canceled out, but a gust to 80 at Brainerd Lake, Rocky Flats 58, Copper Mountain a gust to 75, Winter Park a gust to 75. Imagine trying to ski in that. But as Kim mentioned, now it's all about the cold. We're already at 30 degrees. We're headed for the teens tonight. Details on that in your New Year's forecast coming up.
A woman who lost her home in the Marshall Fire is still working to rebuild because of a crucial mistake made on her insurance policy. She called Steve on Your Side in hopes of at least warning others. Wendy Weiss says the policy under the home she and her husband bought 9 months before the Marshall Fire covered only 1,700 of their 2,700 square feet. It didn't include the lower level of the 3-story house. Those missed square feet mean that her family only has about half of the money that they need to rebuild. They're planning to build a one-bedroom house where their four-bedroom house once stood.
We're just going to downsize, and it's still really, it really sucks because it's not going to be a place that like our kids can come home to, because we're not going to have like a spare bedroom for them.
Wendy and her husband sued their insurance company and their insurance agent in 2022. Judge ruled against them. They're now appealing that decision.
At the grocery store right now, you may notice eggs are hard to come by and they're expensive. Some Republicans in Colorado are blaming it on the state's cage-free egg law that takes effect this week.
9 News reporter Spencer Soisher talked to the farmers supplying the eggs who say the shortage has nothing to do with the new law.
People need to see the major food shortage. I have been to multiple stores that have zero eggs created by our liberal government. This short-sighted new law is already affecting Colorado.
Cage-free legislation has nothing to do with the shortage of eggs. Nada.
If you spent any time doom scrolling through angry Colorado social media this month, you'd think the state's incoming cage-free egg law is the reason store shelves are egg-free. Even Republican state representatives are blaming the incoming law.
But they can't find eggs because there's a shortage of hens throughout the United States due to avian influenza.
Bill Skebby is the director of the Colorado Egg Producers. They represent 6 large commercial farms in the state.
And all of them were hit with avian influenza.
Signs like this one at the King Soopers on 9th and Corona blame Colorado's new cage-free egg law for the lack of eggs. Bill says that's
exceptionally wrong.
But at Bored Grandma makes a good point. Why might prices be higher here than, say, Utah? Bill has cracked that egg. Some states have been hit harder, and Colorado is also not a top egg-producing state.
We haven't been able to raise eggs in the state of Colorado due to avian influenza. So what does that mean? In order to get the supply of eggs, you've got an additional big cost in transportation.
So when the new law starts later this week, Bill says don't expect changes.
The big thing is, until we get our supply back throughout the United States, prices of eggs are going to remain high.
Spencer Soisher, 9 News.
Colorado Egg Producers says cage-free eggs are expected to increase prices an estimated 17 to 19%, a cost increase due to extra labor, more areas for workers to clean.
There's still no evidence of bird flu passing from person to person, but health experts warn that mutations of the virus could make it more likely to spread between humans. The CDC says genetic sampling from a patient in Louisiana recently hospitalized with America's first case of H5N1 shows the virus likely mutated in the person, potentially allowing for it to be more easily spread to humans. But the agency has emphasized the risk to the general public has not changed and remains low.
As women are being diagnosed with cancer at younger ages, doctors hope that genetic testing will offer early alerts.
9 News reporter Rachel Krause is joining us now. And Rachel, for some women, testing can be expensive, and others just don't even know it's an option.
Yeah, doctors say the BRCA gene test is something they want more women to have on their radar because 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. But when you have the breast and ovarian cancer gene, your chances are 6 in 10. Doctors say knowing early on can be a game changer. Working as a radiation oncology nurse still feels new for Becca Feldman.
So we see new patients and follow-ups over here.
But conversations about cancer feel familiar.
I remember going to a doctor's appointment when I was younger, and the doctor was asking, do you have any history of cancer in your family? And my mom was sitting next to me, and she said, "Oh, I do." And I was like, what? Because she never told me about it.
4 years ago, her genetic testing came back positive for BRCA1, putting her at high risk for breast and ovarian cancer.
So it's better if I just do this preventatively.
Becca got a double mastectomy in January, sharing her journey on Instagram.
I was really inspired by all these women that had posted their stories, and so I wanted to be able to share with whoever was following me that, maybe you could actually be inspired to go out and do this too.
And then I saw her post about the BRCA gene and getting a preventative double mastectomy, and I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never met somebody my age going through the same thing.
Hundreds of miles away in San Francisco, Maddie Cedar connected with Becca, both in their 20s, both with the BRCA gene.
So my doctors were telling me it wasn't really a matter of if, it was a matter of when.
That bond inspiring Maddie to undergo a double mastectomy too.
I feel very content with the medical choice because now I feel like I have some control over it.
The likelihood that they'll be able to do IVF and save those eggs is huge.
Dr. Olga Muldoon says knowing if you're likely to develop cancer gives women time to think, weighing surgeries and children. Tough information, but potentially life-saving.
I can't tell you the number of patients that I've had who we went to take out their tubes and ovaries because they had a genetic risk, and we found stage 0 ovarian cancer.
I did have a lot of anxiety. I felt like go away after that surgery.
Becca knows what may still come down the road could be tough.
I sit here and wonder, like, what would my fate have been if I didn't even know or get checked for it.
But knowing is better than wondering what if. For women who've had close family members with these cancers, insurance may cover the cost of testing. Others can pay for it out of pocket, although it's likely to run you a few $100. Both Becca and Maddie say it's something they encourage women to do if they can in hopes of avoiding cancer altogether. Rachel Krause, 9 News.